Okay, good evening, everybody. This is the Town Manager Search Committee meeting of Thursday, February 23rd, 2023 at 6 p.m. here in the Veterans Room. We'll start off with roll call. Terry?
Here.
Pete?
Here.
Counselor Rivas?
Here.
Counselor Adams? And Evelyn is not here right now. Okay. All right. And agenda item number 2, discuss and approve the draft minutes for February 16, 2023. Need a motion a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Discussion. So I made it very quick because we did have a lot of discussions, but there were,
Yeah, you only want to put what's super relevant and important.
so I did them last night and tried to get them over to you early enough.
Yeah.
Any discussion or questions on it? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? 4-0. All right, number 3. So I'm gonna add something to this. It's discuss review town manager search request for RFP and take any action thereof. And then I also wanna add in there for us to approve this evening, the recommend to the town council of $25,000 because it'll be on Monday meetings, town council meeting. So let's start off with the first thing, which is the RFP. What I did was, based on your guys' recommendations, I put everything in red that I had changed. We do have some extra copies if you guys want to take a look at it. Here's the RFPs. I've got the draft minutes right there, or the approved minutes, and the agenda. Here you go. And then position statement right there if you guys want them. So, as I said, we went ahead and changed everything in red, or we crossed it out. The yellow, I just still wanted to confirm the fax number, which is correct, and the Mass General Law, which is correct at the time. And I want for your guys' guidance, and I just wanted to review these things, to make a recommendation to move these
There's
forward.
still font issues.
What are, you know what? I went through the whole process.
So here, if you look at this versus this, the size, it's just the size.
page?
This is the second page.
Oh, second
It's the
page.
size, more than the font. Probably the same font, but the sizing is off a little bit.
Let me check that again. I've got my laptop here, and I can check it at the end.
Yeah.
I'll check font one more time.
Yeah, but like I said, the font's okay.
Oh, not font,
It's
the size.
The size has to
I
all be.
swear I did it, but maybe I didn't do it.
I know, because
Got it. Is that where it
Here.
changed? Oh, here, that's.
here and over here.
I see, I know,
Yeah.
that's obvious.
Terry, was it, you said the second page, right? And then what other page did you see?
Well, I think it's the second, it's,
Yeah.
my
Page
glasses
two.
are off.
Was this scope of work?
The 2 pages, yeah, were sculpted,
Page 2 and the following page.
and then the 3rd page. The rest,
That could add
Basically,
it in somewhere.
yeah, exactly. And if you just highlight it and just make it all the same size, you're all done.
I thought I did that, but I have been wrong many, many times before, and I'll work on that.
Sometimes the computers don't listen.
But I will have also the executive assistant upstairs
Yep.
review everything, clean
Okay.
anything up that she may see, because it won't go out until
Yeah.
the 1st.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Evelyn, we're just on the proposal right now. Give you guys a second to take a look at it. All right.
I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
On
the page where, it's the third page in, maybe, where it starts with the bullet that says consultant
Consultant?
shall.
Sure.
The section, I know that we got rid of the town council reserves the right to hire a candidate, but I thought, we were going to add, even though it wasn't needed, the TM search committee reserves the right to not recommend any candidate provided by the consultant. I thought we had agreed that, to add that even though it wasn't technically necessary.
Did we?
I
That's
remember
my
it more that
recollection.
we decided that it technically wasn't necessary, so that's the part I remember. Because it's sort of implied.
Yeah, I think the town manager said it doesn't hurt to have it in there. And I thought that we agreed to just put it in there because the town manager said it doesn't hurt.
I remember the discussion, but not.
Evelyn, did you sign here? Or did
But
you-
isn't that what that sentence says above it, the one above the
No,
one?
that's the town council reserves the right to
So
not
the
hire.
committee, the
The
search
committee, the search
Okay.
committee reserves the right to not recommend any candidate provided by the consultant.
Oh,
So one is the
So
council.
you want that below?
Yeah.
Is that what it, okay,
Yeah.
let's get it for word now, I'll put it in there.
Yeah.
If everybody.
well, isn't that a function?
Yeah,
Yeah, but I guess in sort of like the legal world that, you know, like I worked in the DA's office, if it's not in the contract, it doesn't exist. I mean, that's sort of, you know. And
Thank
the
you.
TM said it doesn't hurt to
Yeah.
have it in there.
so basically it's the same sentence as the one above, but it's the search committee reserves the right not to recommend
Right,
any of the
not- yep.
candidates.
Yep.
Just to make your job easier.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you will miss that.
Thank you, Tara, I appreciate that.
Yeah, the TM search committee
Yeah.
reserves the right, yep.
Okay, so everybody's okay with that wording in there? Okay. All right, so TM search committee has the right
Or
To
just,
not
yeah,
recommend.
Yeah, the right to not recommend
not recommend
any candidate.
any candidate. All right. I'm indifferent on this, but should that go above or below? As the town council senior to the search committee?
Probably above,
Sure, yeah,
because that would be the first step in this.
yeah.
Okay, I'll make those changes. I'll go ahead and put that as a motion actually,
Or I
at
think-
the end, we're gonna vote on this anyway, so
Right.
Okay.
it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion on that, or you wanna move on? Anybody else wanna add to that? Yeah, Councilor Marquette.
Peggy, through you. Why did you take out the town council reserves the right to hire a candidate not recommended? What if the town council wants to hire someone else? You're not gonna allow that?
What?
The town council is different.
Go ahead, Eva.
Then I'm trying to read what you said.
So town council reserves the right to hire a candidate not recommended or provided. We're trying to keep it fair across the board. So when it came to, let's say a council or councilors said, hey, we go through this entire process, but they have somebody already in mind in their head, it alleviates that bias, I believe, in my view, it alleviates that bias by the council and allows these individuals to do their job and then allow us to do ours and then bring it up to you. Again, we're a recommending body. You guys can, the town, once it gets to the council, they can turn around and say, no, they don't want this individual.
Right,
And
but
say,
then
go try it again, go back to the
Right.
playground and go play
Right.
and do it again.
Yeah, yeah. But to kind of like change it up at that moment and hire someone else,
That
that
consultant
doesn't look
won't
right.
want to work with you again.
And that wouldn't look right to the
Yeah,
community.
exactly.
That just, yeah.
Any other questions on this at all?
Well, I think to his point, if you just eliminated the right to hire a candidate and they reserve the right to recommend a candidate to the consultants, that's,
What did
is that
that
all right with
mean?
you? You know what I mean?
I don't understand, what did that mean?
Because the discussion we had last meeting was that, should that happen, that person would go through the same process as every other candidate.
Right, but at the beginning, not at the end.
Yeah, no, at the beginning, yeah.
I just think that skews like as a for the town council to that kind of puts your hand on the scale because we're the council. I think sure you can tell someone go apply, but to have something in here that says the town council makes a recommendation to the consultants, I think that puts
Step
our
too
hand
far.
on the scale.
So they can, if they know somebody, they can send them to a
Sure.
consultant anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
The whole intent, I believe, was to make sure that regardless if we knew individuals or not, regardless if they're from town or not, it became a very even playing field for them to say, this is what I've done and this is who I am, instead of this is who I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, hey,
HR.
that's exactly what I was gonna suggest.
I don't think the previous search committee was wrong in putting it in, because I think it's a natural thing to do, but there are a lot of valid points here of just trying to keep, let us get up there and let us recommend who we recommend after all this period of time, and then, if the town council turns around and says, no, then we go back and do it again. But I do know, if I'm not mistaken though, isn't it, the town council ultimately has a say in who they wanna hire or not.
Yeah.
And if they turn around and say no, and then, let's say the search committee, or search organization firm no longer wants to do business with us, then it's kind of like, we're required by charter to have a committee, but the committee can turn around and say, okay, we'll do it ourselves, and based on whatever information that we provided, we can turn around and recommend to the town council. I'm fearful that we turn around and do the same thing that we're hoping the town council wouldn't do.
Right.
Because we have that authority to recommend anyways to the town council. Hope I'm making clear the path, but
Yeah, but on the search committee, you have citizens, and it's part of a process as opposed to, again, we already have this perception in our town for a long time that things are just, automatically done, and we just had a discussion at the DPW meeting that people were upset about the process, and so we want to make sure that people understand that this is a fair process for applicants. It's an important position in our community.
anything else? And Terry, you're right, that second page font, or size of font. Must be an HR thing.
You read all this stuff.
All right, I'll go through it, and I absolutely will send it to Hannah to unmess what I messed up. Any other discussions on this issue? All right, so the intent is to send it to, send it up to HR, send it up to the executive assistant and the town manager for review one more time. Shouldn't be any changes here, but more clerical errors that we're having, or maybe there's something that they found out that we weren't aware of, and then get this out to the public, or out to these organizations on the 1st of March. And the dates are based on what the recommendations, I think it's the 16th, which I would hope to have a meeting
Right.
that day to be able to open any packets that came our way. Then I'll keep you in the loop as they come along. That way, if there's none, we try to figure out and do it again, or we give them a few more days to. Oh, we're gonna have to change the RFP for a due date,
Yeah.
so we'd have to vote on that again and give them more time. And then hopefully on April 1st, we negotiated that contract with them, whoever it may be, and they have up until July 31st of 2023, but with the intent of beforehand. Yes, ma'am.
I do have a question under the scope of work. It says that the consultant shall collect references on finalists. Do we also query check? Is it like a full circle? Or is that something we would do? I mean, obviously, if they don't do it, we would do it here on the town side,
You
but.
wouldn't do a query till you hire them. That's
Right,
what
I
you
mean,
do.
after we hire them, do they provide that? Or is that something we would do on our end? I just never been involved in a town manager search before, and I just,
I would say
You don't
it's
do
part of the hiring
quality checking and
process.
thirds over here?
no, all employees get query checked, I'm saying, but this is a different circumstance, because normally we're doing the recruiting, so that's why, I'm asking.
Well, this is something
I'm
that,
pretty sure.
once we bring them in, I would assume that they would do it, but I think this is a conversation to be had with them when they come in and say, these are what, some of our, we'd ask the question, and if not, when, and if not, why, and if not, can we? You know, kind of a question.
Yeah, and my understanding too is you can't really transfer a quarry, so we would have to do one
We would have
anyway.
to do one anyway,
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
probably
but it would be nice
easier.
to know ahead of time.
okay. Right,
that they passed it.
right, I mean, obviously post-offer, because you can't do, it's illegal to do it pre-offer, but,
Right.
yeah, right.
So do you do quality sorting too?
We don't do stories here, we only do
Really?
quarries, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I know we're being taped, I don't want anybody's
We'll
eye
do
taken out
stories
here.
more like in hospitals, schools, because you're, you know, if you're dealing with children or the elderly or any population that's a vulnerable population, that's when you'll see a story conducted.
But that's a good question to ask, so we'll look into it. We'll ask the question when it comes down to it. I think it's good. Any other discussion? Yes, sir.
One more thing. Did you agree that it would go till July 30th? I thought we had spoken on June 30th. So you said it's July 30th?
Yeah, I compromised.
Okay.
She lost.
Okay,
Sorry.
I
No, it turned, we wanted it June, I think the intent is June 30th or before. We'd like to have something already going, but giving them enough time to, unfortunately, after the new fiscal year and new counselors, it is what it is. And, you know, we would like to make the decision beforehand with this council, but again, the new council comes on board, they'd probably want to have a say in it as well, too. So, you know, we just can do what we can do. July 31st is the date, though.
It says July 30th.
How many days are in July? When is July 30th?
July 31st is the last.
31st. So that was a Monday. Oh, we did say it's 31st, didn't we? Sorry, 31st, I'll make that change. Yes,
So does the firm have until the 31st to provide you all the candidates, or do we want to have someone hired by the 31st?
the intent is to have somebody
Someone
hired.
by the 31st?
Yeah,
Okay.
we gave them enough time to look just in case they couldn't find anybody and they tried to do it again or come back to us with other recommendations to move forward with. But the intent is to have them before the end of the fiscal year.
Okay.
But we just had to give enough time in the contract to, you know, as I think Pete said it, you're rushing them right through it, and sometimes that's not a good thing for somebody that's gonna run the town or manage the town.
Would you be able to, say, once the elections happen and if we're not done, have the new counselors invite them to sit in on some of the discussions with candidates?
What I would recommend, I don't think that's a problem, what I would recommend is maybe we get in front of the town council and say, hey, listen, we know you're new. Because I think the 31st, reorg is already done.
Yeah.
Right.
We've already had our second meeting. Maybe at the second meeting, we get together and say, kind of give them a brief of where we're at.
Yeah. No, I meant if we were in the interviewing process in June. And the final interviews happened with the town council. So if, say, they were the 2 weeks of June, you know, I'm doing a lot of what ifs, but if it was the last 2 weeks in June, would you want to consider inviting the prospective new counselors? Or just say, no, we'll just keep it to the original? I mean, I don't think you don't want to give them any information they shouldn't have because they're not sworn in. but they could at least be in the audience or something.
I mean, it's an open meeting.
It's
It
an
could
open
be-
session anyways.
I mean, if you're
Okay.
new,
Three
you
fi-
would
three
probably wanna be
finalists.
there.
Yeah,
If you're new, you
But to
probably.
play devil's advocate, like you are, how about if you actually don't select a candidate until after the new council has been sworn in and they haven't really been part of the process?
Well,
Um,
that's a very good question,
That's a
but by the
tough one
time
right
we,
there.
but by the time we get on board, we're hoping to have executive session meetings with the finalists, per se, the 10 or the 5 or whatever it may be. So nobody's invited in except for the, probably the town manager, and those individuals and the firm. So not everybody's, all councilors are just not allowed to be into the executive session process at that point in time. I hope I answered your question okay. on that
Yeah,
one.
I'm just trying to think of like a fair evaluation process. If they're not informed, then they haven't been part of the process, then is it fair to have them vote for that, for those individuals?
That's why ideally, we would want it to be
Before.
before a new council comes in, because we are, you know, like, we've been in part of this process as the council in existence, and I think it's fair to both, like, you don't wanna put new people in that position, like, right when they get sworn in, and you also wanna make it fair to the outgoing councilors who've been doing the work.
we do it with Congress, they all switch over
I
and
mean,
all the new
yeah.
people get to do everything from day one. And
Yeah.
Well, if you're a counselor that pulled papers, they should be in these meetings now, having conversations, even if they didn't turn them in, but was very interested. You know, they should be here. I know Council Marquetti was at, Council Rivas, I know myself, even though we just wanted to educate ourselves on what was gonna happen. And they, you know, so even if it's after July 1st, which I hope it's before, but it's what they're sworn to do and their responsibility in the end. I'll address that because I think Terry already said that. A few people did.
Okay.
Anything else? Yes, sir.
One more thing, would you want to put that language in there that we would like you to pick somebody before that, or is it just something we're going to have a discussion with
When we get them on board, the last meeting we discussed saying, this is our wishes, this is what we'd like you to do, just like is there quarry
them? You
check?
don't want to put it in language.
No,
Well,
because we give them the
quarry check is
contract.
after hire, right? So, so technically, you're right, they wouldn't be doing the hiring, they're just helping us with the selection, with the recruitment piece, so I don't think there would be a board check.
At the end, the committee will go into executive session, whittle it down to 3 individuals who will be the finalists, and then.
Well, they can do it post-offer,
So can you do the call
Yeah.
after you offer the
would just be
position?
technical.
Upon acceptance, yes.
Okay. How long it take?
Oh, for us, it's the same day.
Same day?
What was the question? I didn't hear.
How long take?
For
And
the
if you
results of
can
the quarry,
offer-
for
if
us,
you
it's
can-
the same day.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty quick.
And
Yeah.
then-
There's nothing in there? If there's nothing in there, yes, if it's a clean quarry, yeah.
No, I probably gotta call you because I used to do my all employees myself.
It used to take a lot longer. I
But
think it's a lot
We
faster.
do get sorry too, so that's why
Oh,
it's,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, any other questions? All right, I'll make the changes. Well, I need a motion to accept the draft motion to accept the RFP,
That's
As-
correct.
as is.
As
As amended.
As
As
amended.
amended.
So moved.
Second?
Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, it passes. We'll get it up there as amended. Thank you so much. I'm gonna do this. No, I won't do that today,
Oh,
Adrian.
I wasn't paying attention, I was
I'm ready to
reading
pass it
your
on to her.
piece. I'm sorry, were you
Okay.
gonna throw paper at me?
The RFP,
Well, go ahead.
because you have nothing else to do. The next item would be to, as we discussed last meeting, all falls into this motion, or this agenda item, is the $25,000 from the town council reserve. Just so you know, I mean, we all agreed upon it, but I do want to make an official motion to request from the town council $25,000 in support of the town manager search committee for hiring a firm.
So
Anybody wanna-
moved.
Okay,
Second.
okay.
Is that a number not to exceed?
not to exceed $25,000.
I mean,
So,
that's how it's
yeah.
worded.
You know what, I do have, we got that motion from, Christine. Do you have it? I don't have my packet with me.
Timeline.
Oh, yeah, that's,
Thank you.
that's
All right,
on
so the
back.
motion right now is recommend to approve a transfer request for $25,000 for the town council reserve. The town manager specialized services to cover the costs for the town manager's search committee to engage the town manager's professional search firm. This is going to the town council for their approval. My recommendation at this time is just vote to not exceed $25,000 for the town council to support the town manager search committee. And then we reword it in here to make it, I guess, legal.
Okay.
Anybody wanna, make a motion in a second? We can
So
discuss it.
moved.
Okay. Thank you.
Second.
Discussion on it. We're all good with 25? All right. Let's come out to 26. All right, good to go. We'll do a transfer. All right, we'll do another transfer. All right, any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous, all present. And, agenda item number 4 is discuss review position statement and take action thereof. Obviously, the position statement, I don't know if I have any extras up here. But the position statement we were going over, obviously, we're trying to help the firm out when they do arrive, or whoever it may be. Does anybody have any recommendations at this point in time? And I can start lining it out and get it cleaned up and get you a draft copy. Yes.
I just have a couple of things that, I would wanna add in that second paragraph.
Okay.
To serve as its next town manager, Southbridge is seeking an experienced, knowledgeable, and strong leader in that section. Adding from the back, recognizes and embraces the diversity of the community, cause that's on the back page with the ideal candidate, but bringing that to the forefront. And then adding the line from that section, being bilingual, is a plus, 'cause that was on the back section. And just kind
Oh,
of
okay.
bringing it to the forefront a little bit,
So the ideal candidate? Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And then adding, demonstrates a commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Those
Yeah.
are just my,
Under ideal or
or
sorry.
in that same paragraph.
second paragraph?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Council Rivas, can you do me a favor and send me an email with
Yeah.
that? And what I'll do is I'll put it together, put it in red, obviously, and then I'll make changes to it. Or I'll cut and paste and put it in the same size and font.
Yes, make sure.
Yeah.
Do we still have a AA minus rating?
Yes, we do, if I'm not mistaken, but I can check on the AA minus.
Okay. No, obviously, we need to change the budget to 22, because we haven't done, no, 23,
23. Yeah, we're about to go on 24.
yeah.
So, again, I just asked it, can you just send me an email with that verbiage and I'll put it in there?
Okay.
I did, the annual salary, what did we say recommended? I think HR came up with a,
180.
175, I
It
think
was,
what you
what,
said. 175 what?
she said
I think it was 180.
I believe it was on 180, when we discussed, I wrote it down.
I thought that was a 170,
I thought it was 175, plus or minus.
Oh,
yeah.
Plus or minus.
Yeah.
okay.
I
I thought
mean,
Thought
it's
someone
still,
said a
it still
range.
opens, like the plus or minus can, leaves it up for
Well,
negotiation.
you can always go lower.
Well, Councilor Marquetti brought up at one of the meetings, there's multiple things in that contract that, it goes 175, but then by the time you get education done, possible some type of stipend, possible bonus. It's all on the council at that point in time to negotiate the contract anyway, so.
Right, but this is just base salary.
Yes.
It doesn't include
Right.
all the compensation.
Beyond all the ancillary items.
I have
Yeah.
a couple of questions. some of the things that were written over here was like kind of old. On the education and service public,
Yep,
it said currently on the performing level 5, the district service school are currently scheduled to remain under state control until the end of 2022. And then year in 2023.
so that's gonna go to 24 now. No, 3 years.
20.
So that was 25. It's going to 25. So I have to change.
Okay, and it was another thing that was over here too about the housing at the well.
What page is third page? You
I
said?
think it's the third. I'm trying to, because when I read it was a couple of things that need to be updated.
Some of this has to. I got to go through this whole thing
Oh, okay.
because. Please again send me an email if you see something in
Okay.
there. Just highlight it for me
I
because
think
I'm
it was
looking at
3
payment
things, but
management
now I
plan,
can just
everything.
pinpoint it.
Right. And Harrington is now UMass Harrington.
Yeah.
It was Harrington, it was the, we were talking about they want to develop, and now it's already done.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
They-
the bullets under
Are you talking about the
projects.
K Street or are you talking
The
about
projects
Wells?
have changed.
I think it's,
And then it was,
Location?
I think it's Wells.
They're at the high school.
Yeah, and I think it's a total
But
of
that's new,
46
Yeah.
units in
Yeah.
there now.
the trash collection.
Should we have a picture of a coin being
I
flipped?
think it's the projects, all those need to be updated.
So that means, but what else is new though? You know, I think that when we look at it,
The
you know,
rail
I want to help
trail,
them. There's a
fire
lot of new
station.
things happening from the
Yeah.
tip projects,
Yeah,
new bridges over on Mill Street.
the historic.
The $5 million project through Foster, that's happening, Foster Central, La Rochelle, new Peanut Rotary, stuff like that, that's going in the next couple of years. I mean, we could add in a lot of, there's a lot of projects that have South Street, West Street. The Veterans Monuments that we're doing, that's an update too as well. I could, not that I'm biased, but it'll be done by the time, hopefully, most of it will be done by this end of this year. I could add some of these things in here and I'll just put them in red if you
Yeah, do
want.
that, do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, some things are obvious, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, the fire
Like in the
stations
project
are.
say the town is currently
Pavement
working
management report was completed in 2017.
We developed
That
first
should
to
be
pay
updated.
55,
Yeah.
that's already done. That need to be,
Which one is that, what page?
page 3, number 1, 2, 3.
So under government, that has to be changed too.
It need to be updated because it's talk about things in the past.
Oh, this is done.
Pete, do you remember if this was this done by Bernie and them?
By who?
By Bernie and all of
I
the,
believe so,
they were done, okay.
Yeah.
So you may end up rehiring that firm
yeah,
and
They'll already have this.
they'll have it?
yeah.
Everything
I
in
think the
project.
intent was to cut down how much time they needed to spend on
Done,
this.
easy, okay. So if you want me to, can I bring it to, with your changes to this March 16th meeting?
Sure.
And then I'll just put it in red, and that way if we have something, we'll at least be able to vote on this and move forward with it. Okay, so I'll do that. Councilor Marquetti, sir.
Yeah, I did notice the same thing that she noticed, that like, the trash collection's ending in March.
All
next
that need to
year,
be
Not
updated.
ending in 4 years, so I did see that, but I'm sure that you're aware of that, and you're gonna make changes with that. The only problem that I have is with the pay, I mean, this is not a rich town, and we're gonna pay somebody $175 now? We're just not a rich town, that's all I'm saying.
Can we negotiate on, I mean, can we talk about that a little bit? It's tough, along with, now, with the local towns, because I know Adriana took a look at local towns.
I provided you with a survey,
Right.
and they're well above 175. And they're smaller towns than we are.
We're not like those other towns. We're
But
a very
then-
poor community.
We are, but and I wouldn't argue with that, Counselor Marquetti, but then it becomes an issue of the quality of the person that you want to come into this town. You know, we want someone that's gonna be satisfied in their position and that we can keep long-term.
Well, that's negotiable, I think, but I would start out low. And if they want, if we think they're good enough to pay them that much, then fine, I just think that 175 is quite high for this town, people are not, this is not a rich community, there's a lot of very low income population, so I just think it's too high.
Can I make a mention in here? You got the annual salary, but also in here it says successful candidate will receive an attractive compensation package, including health and retirement plans commensurate with qualifications and experience. Southbridge is an equal opportunity employer. I know that's gotta be in there. I tend to agree with Councilor Marquetti. It's tough to add, nothing, we've increased the price for the town manager, this is Marvin, and the town manager within a year was finding another job. And it's hard, and that's their right to do. I'm not upset about that. We pay them to do a job here, and hopefully they do it for 3 years. But nothing, I know the real world doesn't always work that way, but, there's hopefully a moral obligation, in a sense, for these individuals. Maybe we recommend removing these. Obviously, healthcare is one thing. You got to take care of your people as well. But we did within the contract, we threw in mileage instead of a car. We compensated that. I would say I would never give them that car again. That thing ran into the ground. But we also provided education money. So on the taxpayer dime, we educated somebody, which I understand everybody does, but we educated somebody that left our town within a short period of time. Now it's not everybody. I'm not trying to dig at anybody. It's just I have a problem with all the I don't know if I have a problem with the 175. I have a problem with all these other little nitpicks, and it's the town council's responsibility to negotiate that contract.
Well, do you have to pay?
Oh, I'll let
Okay.
I'll let the HR go, and then Pete, and then Evelyn, please.
I will say is competition stuff, tough. It's not, you're not dealing with the same environment that you were 4 or 5 years ago. So the playing field has changed. You're gonna get what you pay for, yes. There's a risk anytime you hire anyone, whether it's a town manager or, a clerk, that they may leave. And I think everything's not compensation. There has to be other things involved in their willingness to stay with the town. But the town council has also added other requirements as like a residency requirement now. Is someone that's likely to establish residency in the town more likely to leave faster, or to, so you have to weigh everything that you're doing as a whole, instead of just, instead of in sections. I can't say the word today. And I think, when you're really, if you have an ideal candidate and they're willing to move to Southbridge and you feel that they have great experience, their references check out, they've done great things in other communities, are you gonna risk losing someone like that to another community that, may find, are paying them as they would see equitably in today's market?
The candidate.
Compartmentalized, there you go. Sorry, I couldn't get it out. Thank you.
I would say a la carte. Go ahead.
No, my question was, is there town manager must be living in Southbridge, or be living resident of Southbridge?
So right now, I will tell you the flavor of the town council is that they need to move to the town to feel and understand the town better. Usually within 12 months, most contracts will do that. I know other towns have done that. Within 12 months, you must live here. I don't know if you need to be a resident, but you must live here. The town managers that did live here, they had a room. I don't think they became residents. They had a room here. Right. So it's one of those things. It's catch-22. We want them to live here. But it's not a requirement as of
Not
yet.
Okay. It is now a requirement?
No.
No.
But we could put that in here that we would like somebody to be able to move here to this town within 12 months.
But the thing is, people with family, if you know that the town manager average time serving and staying in a job is 3 years, do they want to be like here for 2 years and then move to another, having family? That's going to be maybe a stop.
Well, I do, that's a good point. I want to go on to Pete because he had a question
I
too.
have another question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Couldn't finish.
You want to go ahead?
And the other one was, is the salary has to be like 175, 180, it could be in between, like.
Plus or minus.
It's plus or minus, so we can go down to, based on their qualifications, we can go down to 150 or 160.
Oh, okay.
It's negotiable when we start doing a contract. the town council starts working on the contract with them. Like, you don't have a procurement license, so we're gonna go to 150, but we love what you're doing, you have that experience, but we'll go 150, and the negotiations go, once you get that license, we can bump your pay up to 155 or something like that, or 160, because you're showing an effort to move along. Even the town council or the town would pay for them to get their procurement. I don't know if it costs any money or how much it would. It's negotiating. Pete, sorry, Pete. I gotta get Pete in it because I feel that eye look at me.
Well, at this point, I consider this a draft.
Yeah.
And as I recall, we worked with Paradigm on this. So that can change once we get the third party involved.
They'll give us the recommendations.
Yeah. I mean, if they say, look, you're not gonna get anybody applying unless you're 185, then we're gonna make a decision. We go with that, or we say
Yeah, but
sorry.
the
we're
way
gonna be
that
able to
they
pay
is
you.
explained is very open. Like, for example, when I used to work in my agency, was okay, this position is between 130 and 140. You can start maybe 130 and you negotiate until 140, but you said it could be 175, but they don't have this. What we are asking for example, you say license or a permit or whatever, you're gonna go down to 150, or that was just an example.
That was an example.
Okay.
Absolutely example. So that's the negotiating process of going,
Okay.
this is where we're at, this is where they are, and then we try to hopefully meet in the middle, or we get a little bit more than they are wanting. It's just negotiating. Pete, you good? Did you have anything else?
Yeah, I just think that this is a draft, and there can be discussions with whoever the consultant is
Okay.
before that's finalized.
Okay.
It's a good question. So I'll put stuff in red and I'll just add
Yeah.
stuff, and if we can continue to add it as we go along. I mean, it's nothing that we're required to do
No,
at this point in time. It's just something that we're helping them out with, because this committee is moving along pretty fast. Hold on a minute. Let's see here. Council Marquetti.
Thank you, I don't wanna repeat myself, but I'll just say, I think we should go low, because I know through experience, whatever you say, that's what they're gonna want. They're not gonna go any lower, so. You might go higher with them, but they're never gonna go any lower than what you put down.
Well, what we could do is what Pete said.
And as a tax-paying resident of Southbridge,
Well-
my taxes are too high.
but what I'm saying is we're hiring a consulting firm to tell us,
That's
you know,
fine, yeah.
what the market is like.
That's
or
fine,
what- you know,
I
what-
agree, but just remember,
Yeah.
once you set a price,
Yeah.
that's what they're gonna want.
That's the beauty of the gray line, plus or minus. So, Jasmine, Council Rivas.
I mean, I definitely understand where Councilor Marquette's coming from. And maybe we can ask the consulting firm, like, would it be better to put a range rather than a plus or minus, just for, again, so that people have a sense that that it could go lower than the
That's what I was saying,
175.
range.
Rather
because
than-
of this.
You can disregard in your mind when you're applying the plus or minus sign, but you can't disregard numbers. So I think
Yeah.
that speaks to like, okay, this might be lower than what I,
How about we just put in there somewhere around, we give the numbers, but we also put in brackets saying, do we put it in a range category? Do we do, recommendation off the third party? I think Pete's right. Again, this is a draft, and it ultimately is gonna be the town council who negotiates with the
Yeah.
individual and not the
Yeah.
town manager
Yeah.
search committee.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm sure we'll get guidance from the town council on how much they wanna pay.
Yeah, true.
No, again, I think the plus or minus gives you, I think you're not set into you don't wanna miss the opportunity for someone to apply because you have a set salary. I think it'll give you the room to negotiate, look at it as far as the candidate pool. And I also ask, that you consider the residency requirement, and for someone that's not willing to relocate, what that's gonna do to they're gonna be thinking about this, it's an
Little
additional
kids,
expense.
Everything.
So you have to
Are you gonna
like
pay for
factor,
the move?
they have
moves?
to pay for, or not even, maybe they, like you said, rent a room, and that's an addition, they have a mortgage, and that's an additional a yearly expense. So, and I'm not saying to remove the residency requirements, because when we went to to our annual meeting, there are towns that do have a residency requirements, and there were towns that were moving away from that. So it depends who you talk to. I think it's split.
But, you know, we can also talk about, while we're talking to them, like, we would like, the flavor of the town council is to move here to Southbridge. But if there's a radius that we can agree on and saying it's 2 miles down the road or it's 5 miles down the road, it's something we have to do when we talk about negotiating. If you set a hard line, I think, on everything, it's tough. Now, the charter will be voted on this year. One of the ballot questions will most likely be for residency for the town manager, a requirement. So that, you know, obviously, that may bump up the price of what we're negotiating now because we're making them move over to this place, over here. All right, still draft. I mean, good conversation. Anything else? All right. We'll hold off on this until next. No need to vote on this at all. It's just something we're discussing. All right, next town manager search committee meeting. I would like to see on March 16th if we have packets at that point. Is
March
everybody
16th?
okay with that?
Same time.
I need to find
Yes.
out when.
Let's check with Jasmine first.
16?
Say 6 p.m. on 6 p.m. on the 16th. Be okay for you, ma'am?
On 16.
Yes, yeah, 6 p.m. is good.
16's good. 6 p.m. Okay. I don't need to know. I'll get that out and get the agenda items put on there as we get closer. And motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? And a small present.